I'm happy to be here. We're all happy to be here with you. And we're from Minnesota. And you betcha we're going to try to do a good job. You know all my teammates here. Our coordinator, Rebecca St. George. Our public defender, Fred Friedman. Our St. Louis County Attorney, Mark Rubin. Our probation officer, Dan Bartlett. And our community representative, Donna Ennis. And our pretrial, our initiative is, and Julius, I want the money not right up front, is Pretrial Justice Initiative. In other words, we are now PJI, which is already, we have cards for it. We already have our cards. It's already patent laws we're violating.
Different. Ours is initiative, theirs is institute.
That's from institute.
I'm sure they'll probably file a cease and desist.
Which is why you don't teach technical. Pretrial Justice Initiative. And our goal is to reduce the disparity in actuality to realizing that there are too many people of color incarcerated in pretrial detention. And so our initiative is to make that more fair, again, with the words pretrial justice being key to our actions here. So what we're going to do is create with bail reform, well, bail reform is really kind of an aside to our project, but it may become part of our project. Our goal is to create consistent practices that result in racial equity during pretrial decision making. Our tangible goals, we have a Rule 6 of the Minnesota Rules of Criminal Procedure, which gives judges within our state the factors or guidelines to determining whether to, what factors to consider in releasing a person pre-trial. And what we want to do is create a checklist of factors for all judges within our St. Louis County jurisdiction to consider when making pretrial determinations for felonies. And we're going to remove gross misdemeanors. We're going to deal with felons only in our project. We want to ensure that judges have a supervised release or at least an evaluation tool report on all felons pre-trial, where the bail may be an issue. And so that we're using all 13 of us within St. Louis County and all 16 judges, one of which I am, within the 6th Judicial District are using the same report from probation to help us evaluate release. We want to explore alternatives to commercial bonds as used in the current bail system, and the effects that may have racial disparities. Let's see. And key, of course, is with the help of PJI, the other PJI, that is.
You steal their acronym and delegitimize them. Well, until we get the cease and desist, we're going to continue.
Very good, Donna. Very good. What we want to do with their help is, first of all, determine what statistical questions we need to ask in order to reach these goals, and then collect data that will actually answer those questions. Okay, where are we at? So possible hurdles. We want to garner support for this reform from all the judges. Right now, within St. Louis County, there's 13 of us of our 16 who are within the district. There's a Lake County judge who also covers Cook County, and there's a Carleton County judge. So there's 3 other counties involved in our district. But most specifically for the 13 of us judges that handle the trial courts within St. Louis County, we want to garner support among all of them. And the first part of our in developing clear step-by-step plan is for me, and I happen to be, when I became a judge a little bit over 2 years ago, I almost instantly became the newest judge and the oldest judge in age at the same time. So, and for those of you who didn't know, I was a prosecutor with Mark Rubin's office. He and I prosecuted cases together for 30 years. And so Fred was my adversary and my friend for all these years. More 38, well, almost closer to 38 years.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
You said that the 6th Judicial Circuit covers St. Louis County, and there are
Three other counties.
counties
Right.
in the district. And how many judges would be outside of St. Louis?
Three. There's 16 total district court judges. 13 of us are within the jurisdiction.
Is there any reason not to include those 3 in this,
No.
even though it's beyond the county?
No, in fact, that was discussed actually, and we believe it's important to have all 16,
Yeah.
right? Because we all have jurisdiction within St. Louis County.
And does your office handle those 3 as well?
Yes, plus another call.
Okay.
Right. So ARC or Arrowhead Regional Corrections handles all the whole district. That's right. But one of the first step-by-step processes for me as the part of the project team here to meet with our chief judge, Jim Flory, and explain to him what our goals are and to just seek his approval, which I'm sure we will get, to meet as a team, as a project team, with each of the judges to get input from them, and I think that was very well emphasized by you, Cynthia, both when you met with us as an individual group and as all the groups here today, to seek input. Don't necessarily assume that the reform our reform is the right way to go, because we want input from all of the judges on what do you need to be more comfortable with pretrial release that may not use money bail and that will look for more opportunities to release on ROR, or on your own recognizance. So we're going to look at more opportunities, because a big plus if our project is successful will be that we believe we will greatly overcome the jail overcrowding issue, which is very intense within St. Louis County. At this time, and Fred, you're better with the numbers than I, so why don't you give that. We're spending, our St. Louis County Sheriff's Office is spending $1.7 million extra to house people that are held in our jail in other county jails, because we're so overcrowded. But give them the numbers, Fred, a little bit.
All pretrial detainees, we're spending $1.7 million a year in addition to people in our jail, because we don't have room on pretrial detainees.
And these are people who are held on a money bond that they just can't afford to get out.
And all presumed innocent.
Right.
We've got anywhere from 140 to 160, depending what day it is.
And so our questions as we meet with all of the 16 judges, well, actually 15 others other than I, would be, what do you need in order to help us attain this goal of less disparate disparity, or more specifically, too many people of color incarcerated pre-trial, where there is that presumption of innocence, and where pretrial detention should only be used, as we all know, constitutionally for one of two reasons: or public safety and risk of failure to return to show up in court. So we will ask, what do you need to help us accomplish this as a judge making those pretrial detention decisions? What suggestions do you have? If ROR, release on own recognizance, is used more often as we accomplish this task and these goals, what are your concerns about that? Certainly you're going to be out there, perhaps even more visibly, because somebody's going to screw up sometime on an ROR. But that's, what are your concerns and how can we address those? Is supervised release with conditions, which we'll use ARC, our probation people for, with conditions supervised release more often, do you have concerns about that? And is money bail necessary to assure appearance? Is money bail necessary to assure public safety? And get their input on that. And then how can we alleviate with all of this jail overcrowding? And so that gets us to, do we have one last slide? And so where do we want to go? We want, that's right. I mean, I've kind of covered this. Interview all the judges of the 6th Judicial District. That's 16 of us. Use the information to enhance and develop a checklist. And then work with those questions from, again, the other PJI group, the questions that they're going to give us with our statistician, Dr.
You have the
Widener.
nerve to steal their names and then ask for their help.
They're going to love us. They're going to love us for it. I know. Can't you feel the love?
Well, we're so nice, they're not even gonna blink, you know?
After they get over the initial shock, they won't.
Yeah, let's have Mark
Taking the credit.
come up with it. And then
Fred has
we'll-
pointed out to me I've overlooked a very significant factor in the selection of our name. I have to give all due credit to our county attorney, Mark Brewer. With his prosecution of that patent violation, I want you, Julius, to remember who is that?
You're giving credit / blame.
Well, you're one of those Brooklyn 18B lawyers.
And so, what we're going to do, what I want to do is just end with a little aha moment that I had as again a judge of about 28 months now. No, yeah, 28 months. After being a prosecutor for 35 years and coming into court and saying, let's put them all away, pre-trial or post-trial, it doesn't matter to me, because the cops are actually out there arresting the right people all the time, right? We all know that, right? So I went to this conference in the pre-trial conference in Louisville, Kentucky earlier this month, and we had the good fortune, thanks to Selma and Cynthia, to set us up with the people at the other PJI again. That was the group, but with Judge Morrison, who spoke at that, and he gave me the aha moment that I went back to Duluth in my court with. He had emphasized so poignantly, again, now we all know these things, but maybe we take them for granted too much. That pre-trial we have what? The presumption of innocence first and foremost. The person is presumed innocent. And we're talking about pre-trial detention. And then the use of pre-trial bail or other release conditions should be used to detain only when we have, again, a public safety risk or both, a risk of failure to appear. And so I had this aha moment as that was drilled into my head very poignantly by Judge Morrison. And I went back to Duluth, and I rotate there's 8 of us judges in Duluth. I rotate through to arraignment week once every 8 weeks. And so it's my arraignment week, and I've got one of Fred's public defenders in front of me saying that there's a woman who's been detained in the county jail for about a month and a half or so on serious charges: felony, second-degree assault with a knife, and terroristic threats of a neighbor. There wasn't a relationship, it wasn't a domestic type of circumstance, non-relationship thing. And she approached the bench and said, I would like you to reconsider the $10,000 bail that this person cannot make. And this person is a person of color, Native American, who said, and her father would like to address you. And he stands up at the podium in front of me, and he says, Judge, if you'll reconsider the $10,000 bail, I will assure you, number one, that my daughter will not be a public safety risk. And I said, well, how can you assure me that? He said, I live 80 miles away in Cook, Minnesota, in the middle of the woods. if I need to, I will chain my daughter to a tree. Now, I think he was being a little bit overstating what he would actually do, but he was making it clear she was not going to be a public safety risk. She's going to be out in the middle of the woods with him supervising.
You released her to be chained to the tree. That was your aha moment. I can start
Cynthia, that's not the gist, that's not where I'm going with the story.
Let it finish.
And so I got the public safety risk going through my head that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And how can I be assured that she will appear in court? She has no driver's license and she's 80 miles away in the woods. He said, because I will drive her to court every day. And all that kept coming back to me is, number one, I have a person of color in front of me who's pretrial detention on $10,000 bail. Once I did the analysis, which is so important, I mean, in the context of our project here, equitable pretrial release, I thought, I can't really continue the 10,000 bail, which keeps her in jail until trial for the public safety risk or the failure to appear risk. And so, being the brave person I was on the bench, I said, I'm going to step out on a limb here, Miss, and I forget her last name, but I'm going to release you ROR. And so that's I think what we're seeking, not necessarily the aha moment to chain people to trees, but the aha moment that really we do need to address the disparate proportion of people of color in pretrial detention. That's our goal.
Thank you so much.